Hello everyone and welcome back to Blindfold Chess Training Day 33. Today we are first going to do some coordinate training to warm up, and then we're going to go into a game. You can follow along and then jump into a game yourself. So that's what we're doing today for this one. Yesterday's session, apparently the audio didn't come out right, so unfortunately that one won't be there. It was just more puzzles, continuing off from what I did on day 31. Because it was day 32, right? Yeah. So that's that, and then we're going to go into a game. Alright, let's start. So I recommend you open this up on a new browser and start this coordinate training. It really helps to know the right square when you're actually playing. So start doing this to about 100. You know, more you do, the better you get. A5, D2, A3, H4, C1, G7, H3, D6, C3, G1, G3, C7, A7. B5, F1, B8, D3, G4, D6, C3, H6, F2, D5, H1, F3, C8, D2, D2, E7, H7, E2, C3, D1, B8, D6, B4, H1, C7, A8, C3, F6, A5, D1, C6, D5, H4, A6, H8, F4, E1, H7, A3, D2, H1, D4, B7, E8, H4, B6, E2, C1, B5, A8, G1, B2, B4, B4, C5, B1, E2, B2, H3, A8, D7, He2, D5, C5, E4, C8, F2, B7, C1, C6, F2, C4, F8. There we go, 101. And we'll do one 30-second one just so we get, you know, a bit of speed in us. G5, and see if you can beat my score. If you can beat my score, you're doing really well. If you can't beat my score, you're not doing very well. No, I'm kidding. It's you against you. You gotta get better as you go on. But let's keep going. A3, E2, E4, B2, D7, B4, C5, B7, C2. I'm slowing down a little. B1, F3, C5, B3, D4, H1, A2, H4, F8. When does this end? Oh my god. E6, B1. I swear it's been enough time. C5. Or did I click the wrong one? Oh my god, I thought I was doing it timed. Okay, last one. This is timed. E5, H8, C8, C8, F1, D8, G5, G3, E1, A7, B6, G5, F5. Oh, they're giving me some sort of separated. I do much better on a phone. On here, it's kind of hard because you have to move your cursor the whole way. But yeah, if you do it on a phone, it's probably even better. So that's what I'll recommend. But for now, let's finish this. H7, F8, F3, 6, 8. Okay, 35 is pretty good. And we'll call it there, and let's get into the game. They start with D4. We're playing a 1500 elo bot as black blindfolded. They start with D4. We're going to keep it symmetrical with D5. Let's see what happens. E3. E3 has been played, and very, very tame opening. We shall play... Knight F6 is pretty good here. Sorry, Knight C6 is pretty good here. D5, D4. Yeah, Knight F6 is good. Knight F6 is good. Knight F3 comes. And here I'll be switching between the moves and the board just in case people forget. I won't be looking, but in case you guys need to see the position. So far it's been D4, D5, E3, Knight F6, Knight F3. It's a very tame position. Here I'm thinking of the move C5. And by thinking I mean I'm going to play it. He plays bishop B5 check, which is acceptable. Now I'll play bishop D7 to block and potentially trade a piece. Knight C3 comes, he doesn't want to trade. That's almost a blunder. Because I have bishop takes B5. Bishop takes b5, knight takes b5, and queen a5 check. hitting the king and the knight, but they have knight c3. Okay, let's go for that. Bishop takes b5, knight takes b5, queen a5 check. Knight c3. Now our queen is on a5, we have c5 played. We can play knight c6, that's the logical move. Let's play knight c6 here. Queen d2. Okay, he unpins the knight. This is very important to keep in mind. Also, he blocks his bishop in. He's his other bishop, his only other bishop. So far he's got everything developed but the bishop, and he hasn't castled, of course. Now let's play the move. Let's simplify the game a little bit, actually. Oh, we can. Okay, we'll play e6 first, and then I'll show you what I want to do. e6 castles. Now the move I want to play is taking the pawn, taking, and playing bishop to b5, bishop to b4, attacking the knight, potentially aiming to simplify the game. So let's go for that. And I'll show the position right after these exchanges. So c takes d4. C takes d4, e takes d4. Yes, makes sense, logical. And here I really like the move bishop to b5 to put pressure on the pin piece, and it's just a good move. Yeah, and I can't take the pawn on d5 because it's defended twice. It's defended by the queen on d2 and then knight on f3. I'm attacking it twice. I'll just show this. I'm attacking it twice with... Oh no, I'm only attacking it once, so my bad. With this... Wait, when did they castle? I actually don't remember them castling, but it is what it is. Oh, just then when I played e6. Oh, I just didn't keep track. So yeah. So this is the board. So just have a look. Yeah, can't take this, of course. But bishop b5 looks... Bishop b4 looks quite good to me. So let's play it, just developing our last piece. a3. Now he attacks the bishop. Now it's important to know our c pawn is gone and their e pawn is gone for later in the game. And I yawn. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I yawn because it's like my brain thinks I'm gonna sleep, but I'm not sleeping. I'm playing blindfold chess. All right. I take the knight. Bishop c3. He'll take back with the pawn probably. Queen c3. Okay. I'll trade the pieces. I'm happy to trade the queens. I will also play queen takes c3. B takes c3, and this is the position. So here is where we really have to pay attention. Now, how does the position look? That's the first thing we have to ask. Okay, how many pieces have been traded? There's 2 minor pieces have been traded and the queens have been traded, meaning there's 2 minor pieces left on the board for both sides. We have to figure out where they are. So, where are they? Well, we have a knight on c6 and a knight on f6. As simple as it gets, as easy as it gets. What do they have left? They have a king that's castled, which is nice to know. They have a knight on f6, a knight on f3. And they have a bishop on c1. Now the bishop on c1 can come out to g5. Can come out to f4 as well. But we have the better pawn structure, and we always have the idea of playing knight a5, knight c4, which is actually quite a nice bind. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do in this particular position. I don't know if I need to castle. I think the move that's obvious is just rook c8. And if they ever try and attack the pawn, I can always play b6, or I can play knight a5 defending the pawn. So I think rook c8 is a really nice move, attacking the pawn on c3. They'll play bishop d2 in response, but then we can play knight a5, knight c4, and we have a great position there. So if you keep track of the pawn structure, everything is it's still h2, f2, g2. Their e pawn is gone, which we kept in mind earlier on. They have a d5 pawn, or they have a d4 pawn, c3 and c2 because they took back with the b pawn, and a2. a2 or a3, I'll quickly check just the move list. No, they did play a3, so a3. Now I think rook c8 is self-explanatory, just getting the rook to the open file. Yeah. Rook c8, rook b1. Okay, that's not a great move. I don't like rook b1 from the opponent. Not that I can like, they are attacking my pawn, but I can play knight a5 here, which I really like. And the point of knight a5, I'll show this on the board. Knight a5, it can't be attacked by any of the opponent's pieces at the moment. It's gonna be stuck on c4 after I play b6, and knight a5 also, it disallows a break with c4. Also defends the pawn on b7. It's just an all-around good move. The reason I'm not castling immediately is because the king can come on e7 in some cases. You don't need to castle always in the endgame. My knight can come on e4. It's just a great position. So here I really like knight a5. Knight a5, bishop d2. Self-explanatory move. Bishop d2 is not a bad idea. Defending the pawn on c3. I can play knight c4, but then they will take the pawn. I don't need that. I'll play b6 first as a preparatory move. So b6 as a prep move to defend the pawn. Rook fd1 comes, which is an absolutely garbage move, but I'm okay with that because I'm not looking for the opponent to play good moves. I'm looking to play good moves. So here I can play knight e4, attacking the bishop, and then play knight c4, further attacking the bishop. That's an amazing strategy actually, which I'll go for. The point of knight e4, attack the bishop, put my pieces to good squares and just win the game. I should castle eventually maybe, or king e7, I'm not sure. But for now, I'm not worried. I think knight e4 is good. Knight e4, a4. Okay, they have a plan with this a4 move, and the plan is to lose the game. Yeah, I don't know what a4 does. It's quite terrible. A4 is not a good move. The reason being, it doesn't do much. I mean, my knight is on a5. You can't push a5. If I go knight c4 here, I would be... Oh yeah, by the way, I can't take the bishop immediately because the knight can recapture. So I don't think I want to allow that. The bishop's pretty passive. If I play knight c4 immediately... that's why they played a4. If I play knight c4, it would be a fork between the bishop and the pawn, but they have the bishop c1 there, so I don't know. So here I can play knight c4, but they'll play bishop c1. And there's nothing clean cut. So I'm going to castle. I'm going to play it by the book and castle. Knight e5. Okay. So now the opponent puts their knight on e5, which I don't think is a good move. That was also the idea of rook d1 to over-defend the bishop. Okay. Now it makes a little bit more sense. Does knight e5 threaten anything? This is something we have to think about. Does it threaten a fork of any kind? My rook is on c8 and my rook is on f8. So no, it does not. The opponent's playing pretty well. But if I play f6, I think that's doing pretty good. And if they go knight d7, attacking my rook, I go rook to d8, and they have what there? They can't take on b6. c5 is covered. I don't understand why I can't just play f6 and push the knight back to like g4. So this is the board. I will quickly show the position. I was considering the move f6 here, which I do think is a good move. Yeah, f6 is a good move, and if they give this, if they attack the rook, I just play rook d8, and the knight has nowhere to go. It's really important to visualize this stuff playing blindfold. So I think they'll play a move like knight g4, which is not very good, and there I'm just better. So I think f6 is quite strong here. So I shall play it. Knight g4 as predicted. And if you predict your opponent's moves in blindfold chess, it feels really good. So now I can play knight c4. But knight c4, they go bishop e1. Or maybe I did just double up on the file. Oh, wait a second. What am I thinking about? I can just take the bishop and take the pawn. Ah, I could have done that immediately. Yeah, I think I just missed the tactic. Okay, now I can just play, and we'll analyze this after the game. I can play knight takes d2, rook takes d2, and rook takes c3. And I'm up a pawn there. And I like that position. I'll bring the other rook in. Great position. Let's go for it. So just showing you now. Take this, rook takes, and just take on c3, and you have a great position. You'll play rook c8 next. You'll play it's just over now. Knight takes d2, rook takes d2, rook takes c3. And rook f1. Okay, rook f1 is a nothing move. And I can just take the next pawn. Okay. So here, we always have to think about... let me bring my seat up. So we always have to think about what the opponent is actually trying to do with this. To me, I don't understand rook f1, but I could be missing something. Because what I see right now, the pawn on... The pawn on c2 is hanging, but they can maybe play knight e3. But what can the knight do from e3? That we have to figure out. Knight e3 can go to c4. But I have a pawn on d5. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a free pawn. I'll have a look. Oh no, it's not a free pawn. Okay, I would have made a mistake. I would have probably taken, and that is my bad. I forgot the rook was on d2. This is a mistake you make sometimes while playing blindfold. But I don't understand rook f1 at all. I guess they was arguing the rook was doing nothing here. On b1, I just put it to f1. But okay, and now rook c8 makes a lot more sense. Just bring the rook to c8. Bring the f rook to c8. Yeah, and just piling up. Rook d3 comes. They want to trade my rook, and I would rather take the pawn. Yeah, I don't get this move at all. I'll just take the pawn here. So I'll just take on c2. So let's do that. f3. Now here's a good opportunity for us to, conquer the file. To play something like rook a2. So here, if you look at the position, f3 is pretty much a nothing move. You can play rook a2 here, play rook c2, and just go after these pawns. I think that's the best strategy. And you attack the pawn, their rook is in no man's land. And I think it's just a winning strat. So I think here rook a2 is good. Knight e3 comes. Okay, knight e3 makes a lot of sense. It's stopping rook c to c2 because the knight would capture. But I can just take the other pawn. Not to mention, I can play the move knight c4 here, which is a winning move. The aim of knight c4 to trade the knights and bring the rook into c4. And there I'm winning completely. So let's go with that. Let's go with knight c4 here. So knight c4, point is trade off the knights, bring the rook to c4, attack this pawn, bring the rook in and just win the game. So let's go knight c4 here. Knight c4, rook b1. Rook b1 allows me to take the knight and then just bring my rook to the file, which I shall do. Let's do it. So knight takes e3. They're going to play rook takes e3, and then I'll play rook c to c2, and I'm winning. Rook c to c2. Yeah, so their rook's on b1 and e3, don't forget. b1, e3. And here I can play rook c to c2, and I believe it's just winning here. g3 comes. And okay, I don't have mate on the board. I don't have mate, but I have rook g2 check. And I can just keep giving them checks just to annoy them for at least a good while. Yeah, let's go with rook g2 check. And the point is just to give the check. If the king comes to f1, we take on h2. And if obviously if the king goes to h1, we take, give another check. We can even pick up the rook if we want. And it's just, we have rooks on the 7th. So here, we'll play, okay, rook g2 check. King f1, now I take on h2. King g1 makes sense. They're not trying to lose immediately. Here the other rook can give a check. And I can transition into a winning rook and pawn endgame. But I don't know if I want to do that. So just looking at the position, I would have much more pawns if I transition into the endgame, and I will win there. But it doesn't seem like it's the most I can do. So probably a better strategy is to play rook g2, king f1, and rook g3. There, I'm threatening rook h1, which if they defend by bringing the rook up, they could do that. Let's go for it. I think it's just winning anyway. Rook a g2 check, king f1, rook takes g3, rook takes e6. Okay, so they take on e6 here, which is obviously a bad move. Actually, it's not terrible. Here I was thinking I could give a check and pick up the rook, but that would take mine anyway. So, maybe not optimal. These computers are resilient. I'll just take on f3. Rook takes f3. And we shall finish off the game. King e1. Okay, now I'm winning. Now, if I give a check, he goes king e2. I take, he takes. Okay, that's not the winning line. To win this game immediately, how can I do that? I think a better move actually. Oh, a really nice move. Maybe it's not as nice as I thought. I was thinking king f7, but then rook c6. And this is not that winning. I think rook g3 is good here. Let's play rook g3, threatening mate. They have to go king f1. There I give the check and I'll transition into the endgame. Yeah, I think at some point I just have to transition this game. Honestly, I'll do it immediately. I can just play rook h1, rook b1, rook a1, rook a4 and push the pawn down. So let's do that. Rook a1. Rook h1. King e2, now I take on b1. King f3. Now I play rook a1. Yeah. Rook a1. Rook e8 check, king f7. Rook d8. Ah, okay, he goes after my pawn, but I can take now. So here he goes after this pawn, but I can take this pawn. I can also play... He gets a passed pawn, which I don't like. But it also doesn't matter, not really. So if I want to avoid everything, I can play king e6. Rook e8, king d7. Yeah, it's probably the best. Just to go king e6. I'm looking at the board quite a bit here, but it's quite easy to win from here. All you need to do, if you are playing blindfold from this position, you just have to take stock of all the pieces. So what I would do is, okay, I remember where all the pieces are. Then I visualize that in my head, and then you kind of win. But this is just making it a bit quicker. But essentially from here, the game is won. So rook h8 I take, and this is a nothing move again. Rook h8 because I can take on... Okay, let me take on a4. They take, and I have two passed pawns there. There's no way it's winning. Okay, rook g8 comes. Okay, here I can go a5. a5 they take, I go king e6. And I win. Yeah. So a5. a5 they take... Oh, they don't even take. So here they're kind of playing for nothing. Here rook b4 and a5, a4. A4, a3 is just the winning strat. So here rook b4 would be nice. Just rook b4, defend the pawn. And just push the pawn down. Rook b7 does nothing. Doesn't threaten any... I mean, you can take the pawn, but I'll make a queen. So just a4, a3, and we win. a4, king e3. They're not threatening anything. No check, no sneaky checkmate, no. Just a3 here. And it's an important point. If we play a3, they go back. We can give a check and keep contact with the pawn. Yeah, that's about it. It should be pretty winning. Then we can play rook b3, b5. Yeah, it's just pretty elementary at this point. a3, rook takes g7, a2. No, here we don't even have to play a2. Here we can do something pretty smart, which is put the rook behind the passed pawn, rook a4, and then push. That way it's completely over. So just rook a4 here. Rook g1, now I push the pawn, a2. Rook a1, and now the rook is trapped. Now I push the other pawn down, and it's winning. So I just go b5, b4, b4, to infinity. King e2, b4, king d2, b3. King c2 is not possible. King c3 is possible. Okay, they're actually making progress here. b3, king c3, and it's getting a little annoying. I'll play there. Check. Yeah, I mean, it's winning no matter what, but I don't want to give them a chance, really. So you know what? I can just push another pawn down the board. Or I can play b3, king c3. Oh, this is genius. b3, king c3, rook b4. They take the rook, I play b2. They take on a2, I promote. That's amazing. Now rook b4. Look at this move. Rook b4. And yeah, there's nothing there. Rook b4, they take, I play b2. Now b2. Rook takes a2. Now I make a queen. King a3. And if you look at the board, here I just have more material. And I can even sacrifice. Okay, this is the easiest way to win. Sacrifice, play h5. The king is outside of the square. And I won't be able to get to it. So play queen takes a2. And this is a rule called the square, where you just play h5 and win the game. h5, king b3, h4, king c3, h2, h2, make a queen. So now the king is on d2. Here the checkmate is pretty self-explanatory. We just do it with the king and queen. Queen f3 would come. King e1. Now we go queen g2. Now we just bring the king. So now it's self-explanatory. Bring the king. There's no stalemate here. So king f5. King f5, king e4, king d3, and we win. Just king f5, king e4, king d3, king a1. We go, where is it? King c3, right? Where's king c3? King c3, king b1, and now queen b2 is a mate. And we have successfully beaten the 1500 Elot bot that's caused us so many problems. We actually played the opening quite well. We didn't look at the board too much. Just the knight a5, knight c4 things I kind of showed. The rook takes c2, I did mess up. I do take accountability for that, but you know what? I think it's a pretty smooth sailing win. And this is the game. Now, let's analyze the game. Because a game is played to be analyzed, as they say. That's not a quote, but let's do it. Okay, so let's play it out from the black's perspective. So d4, d5, they played e3. Here I played the move knight f6, which is a good move. They played knight f3. So far so good. Here I played c5, which is top engine move, and it's a pretty good move to play in these scenarios where they haven't committed with c4 themselves. c5. They gave a check, good move. Bishop d7, good move. They did something weird here. Developed the knight. Here I can take, played queen a5, knight c3, and here what I did was knight c6, I believe. Knight c6, queen d2 came, e6 came, castles I took. They took back with the pawn. I played bishop b4. So far I'm following top engine theory, so I played pretty good. I can't lie. They played this move, I wasn't too afraid. I'm like, okay, we can trade this. And you can see already, black is better already in this position. And our plan is simple. Knight e4, knight a5, knight c4, rook c8, and we just pile up on these weaknesses. So rook c8 I played first. They played rook b1, which isn't great on account of knight a5, which is top engine move. I'm playing like a computer here. I have to give myself some credit. Knight a5. There they played bishop d2, which didn't give me any worries. Then I played b6 before I played this, which not the best, but okay, no, it's still decent. They played a4, which is also top engine. And I castled, I believe. Yeah, did I play knight? No, I think I castled and then played knight e4. Or did I play knight e4 and then castle? Let's actually see. I played knight e4 and then castled. Okay. I did play top engine. Damn, the computer was getting outcomputed. And so after knight e2, I want to see the accuracy of this game. That's insane. Knight e2. Knight e4, I mean. Knight e4, a4. Oh, knight e4, then they played a4. So what did they play before? Rook c8, knight a5, b6, knight e4. Then a4. I played a4 immediately. Rook. Rook fd1 came first. So they played this in this position instead of a4. which is actually a good move. Knight e4, top engine, a4. Now, I could have taken the pawn. I actually didn't see this in the game. I think I missed this concept of taking the pawn. It must have been just a little blind spot. But I thought, okay, let me just play it safe. I have no worries in this position. And after this came, they played this move. And here it was already bad. I played f6 just to kick the knight away. Knight came back to g4. Here I can always take, which I probably should have done, but this is also simple. Take, take, and take, which is quite nice. Bring the rook to c8. And here I was going to make the mistake of taking this. Thank God I didn't. They played rook f1. I brought the rook in. And after, what was the move they played here? So move, make my line. What was their 22nd move? Rook d3. No, wait, rook d3, then I played f3. Oh no, they played f3. Rook d3, rook takes c2, yeah. This is a bad move, I obviously take it. Computer saying I could even take here, but I prefer this. They played f3, which didn't make sense to me. Here I played rook a2 to go here. They played knight e3. And here I thought of the good move, which I really like. Bringing this knight here. Idea just to trade these off. And I don't think they took. They played something weird. Like really weird. Rook b1, yeah. Rook b1 making... I guess it's the idea is to push the pawn. Not terrible. I took, and played this move. And this is over at this point. So we'll quickly go through the moves. Just to finish it off. But I'm curious as to... Because at this point it's over, right? I'm curious as to what the accuracy is here. Is there a way to check? I don't think so. Yeah, but you can see it's a pretty good game from our side. And yeah, this is me beating a 1500 elo bot blindfolded. Well, pretty much. I did look at the position a little bit, but to show you guys a bit. And also at the end, when it's like you have a few pieces left, anyone can win a game blindfolded. You just remember the pieces and just do it. Like when you have just a rook, you're like, okay, where are the pawns? Where have they moved? And then you just find the weak spots and just go for the throw. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was day 33 of Blindfold chess training. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, and comment if you have any thoughts or queries. And we're getting there, almost day 42. Unfortunately, day 32 was a bit missed because of the audio, but it's fine. Yeah, we're about to finish strong.